In this video, I will discuss some rotational motion problems from previous year's question papers for IIT JEE. This is the first question. Let I be the moment of inertia of a uniform square plate about an axis AB that passes through its center and is parallel to two of its sides. CD is a line in the plane of the plate that passes through the center of the plate and makes an angle theta with AB. The moment of inertia of the plate about the axis CD is then equal to, four options are given. You can pause the video and attempt this question. Here is the solution. So this is a square plate. The moment of inertia about this square plate about the axis AB and EF will be same because the mass distribution about the axis AB and EF are same. This is true since this is a square plate, and moment of inertia about axis AB and EF can be added to give the moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to the plane of this plate and passing through the center. This is the perpendicular axis theorem, and IAB is I, which is being given in the question. So 2I equal to I perpendicular. Moment of inertia of this square plate about the axis CD and also about an axis E1 F1, which makes an angle theta with the axis EF. If you take EF axis and rotate it by angle theta in the counterclockwise direction, we get the axis E1 F1. So the moment of inertia about the axis CD and E1 F1 are also same. To understand this, we have to figure out that the mass distribution of about the axis CD and E1 F1 are same. About the axis CD, on either side we have a trapezium, and let this length be x, and let the length of the square be 2L. So this distance is L minus x, and this distance is L plus x. Because this is x, this angle is also theta, so this distance is also x. So this side of the trapezium is of the length L plus x. So about the axis CD, on one side we have a trapezium whose parallel sides are of length L plus x, L minus x, and non-parallel sides, one of the sides is same as the side of the square, and otherwise a common diagonal. And on this side of the diagonal of CD, again we have a trapezium of length, parallel sides of length L plus x, L minus x, and non-parallel sides, side of the square in the common diagonal. Same is true for the axis E1 F1. So this distance is also x because it's a square. This length is L, so x is L by tan theta, and this x is also L by tan theta. So about the axis E1 F1 also we have two trapeziums which are same as the trapeziums about the axis CD. So the mass distribution about the axis CD and E1 F1 are also same. This is true because it's a square. So using this we get, and by perpendicular axis theorem, moment of inertia about CD plus moment of inertia about E1 F1 equal to moment of inertia about the perpendicular axis, and these two are equal. So it's 2 times ICD equal to I perpendicular. So from this we get moment of inertia about the axis CD is same as I. This is true for a square plate and not for a rectangular plate. So the correct option is option E. This is the next question. A cubical block of side A moving with velocity v on the horizontal smooth plane as shown. It hits a edge at the point O. The angular speed of the block after hitting O is, four options are given. You can pause and attempt this question. So here is the solution. So about the point O, when it hits, there will be a contact force at point O, but if you take the torque about point O, there is no external torque acting about point O. So about point O, the angular momentum will be conserved, as there is no external torque acting on this system about point O. So initial angular momentum is the angular momentum of this block that can be found by r cross p, and the final angular momentum will be I omega, because after collision it will stop translating, it will rotate with an angular velocity omega. Initial amount of r cross p, and r is r of the center of mass, so it's r vector joining this point O with the center of mass here. So, and momentum vector is along V, so r cross p is r perpendicular, which is this distance, which is a by 2 into p is m into v, and after it hits, it will rotate about this point O. So the moment of inertia of this block about point O is moment of inertia about the center of mass plus the mass into this distance square, and this distance is, let's say, d, and related to the side of the square as a by root 2, because it will form a right angle triangle of 45 degrees. And moment of inertia about the center of mass is 1/6 ma square. This is a standard result of a cubical block, which is same as a square plate. So using this result we get, and relation between d and a as d equal to a by root 2. Simplifying we get this expression. So cancelling m into a on both the sides, we get half v equal to 2/3 a into omega. So from this we get omega as 3 by 4 into v by e. So the correct option is option A. This is the next question. A smooth sphere A is moving on a frictionless horizontal plane with angular velocity omega and center of mass velocity v. It collides elastically and head-on with another identical sphere B at rest. Neglect friction everywhere. After collision, their angular speed are omega A and omega B respectively. Then 4 options are given. We have to relate the angular speeds after collision. You can pause and attempt this question. So this is the sphere A having a translation velocity v and rotation angular speed omega. It moves and collides with the identical sphere B, which is at rest initially. So during collision there will be a contact force at this contact point, but this contact force about the contact point will pass through the center of the sphere. So about the center of the sphere there is no external torque acting during the collision. So the angular momentum before collision and after collision will be conserved. So before collision the angular momentum is I omega, and after collision it's I omega f. Moment of inertia is not going to change of the sphere. Initial angular speed is omega, so the final angular speed omega is equal to omega. So the angular speed of the sphere will not change, and also the angular momentum of the block B, sphere B, will also be conserved. So initially the angular speed was 0, so after collision the angular speed will be same as the initially, which is 0. So omega by is 0, but there will be exchange of transition velocities. Linear momentum is also conserved. So these are two bodies of same mass, so the velocities will get interchanged. So after collision, the velocity, linear velocity of A will become 0 and linear velocity of B will become V. So after collision, the block A will come at rest, but it will keep spinning, and this sphere A will not rotate, but it will just slide with the velocity v. Correct option of option C. Let's move to the next question. A disk of mass m and radius r is rolling with angular speed omega on a horizontal plane as shown. The magnitude of angular momentum of the disk about origin O is. You can pause and attempt this question. So angular momentum of a distributed body about any point is angular momentum of the object about its center of mass plus angular momentum of the center of mass about the point. So this is r cross p of the center of mass plus angular momentum of the object about center of mass. So this is center of mass will be at the center of a disk. So this is r vector. So r cross p is r perpendicular into m into velocity of center of mass. R perpendicular is this distance, which is same as the radius of the disk. capital R, and m into velocity of center of mass is omega into r, as there is no slipping. When there is no slipping, the linear velocity v and omega are related as v equal to omega into r. And moment of inertia of this disk about the center point is half mr square. This is standard result. So simplifying, we get 3 by 2 mr square omega. Correct option is option C. This is the next question. An equilateral triangle ABC formed by a uniform wire has two small identical beads initially located at the point A. The triangle is set rotating about vertical axis AO. Then the beads are released from rest simultaneously and allowed to slide down, one along AB and another along AC. Neglecting frictional effects, quantities that are conserved as the beads slide down are: option A, angular velocity and total energy, kinetic and potential; option B, total angular momentum and total energy; option C, angular velocity and moment of inertia about axis of rotation; D, total angular momentum and moment of inertia about axis of rotation. You can pause and attempt this question. There is no external torque acting on the system, so the angular momentum of the system will be conserved, and there are no dissipative forces as there is no friction, so total energy is also be conserved. So the correct option is option B. Option A says the angular velocity and total energy are conserved. Angular velocity will, as the beads sliding down, the angular momentum about this axis, the moment of inertia about this axis will keep on increasing because the mass is getting more distributed, and I omega is conserved. Since I is increasing, the angular velocity omega will decrease. So option A is not true. Option C, angular velocity and moment of inertia about axis of rotation. Moment of inertia will keep on increasing as the mass is getting more distributed, and angular velocity will keep decreasing. So option C is also not true. Option D, total angular momentum and moment of inertia. Angular momentum will be conserved, but moment of inertia will keep on increasing as the mass is getting far away from the axis, and moment of inertia is mr square. So since the beads are moving away from the axis, the moment of inertia will keep on increasing. So option D is also not true. This is the next question. A cubical block of side L rests on a rough horizontal surface of coefficient of friction mu. A horizontal force F is applied on the block as shown. If the coefficient of friction is sufficiently high so that the block does not slide before toppling, the minimum force required to topple the block is. You can pause and attempt this question. So this is the free body diagram of the block. So when it is about to topple, the block will have contact with the surface only at this corner A, and if the force is very very small, then the block will not topple, because this force mg will provide an anticlockwise torque about the point O. But as the force F is kept on increasing, it will produce a clockwise torque which will overcome this anticlockwise restoring torque, and it will start to topple. So for toppling to occur, this clockwise torque F into L is this distance, should be greater than the restoring torque mg into this distance, which is L by 2. So Fl should be greater than mg L by 2 for toppling to occur. So the minimum F for which toppling will occur is mg by 2. Correct option is option C. Let's move to the next question. A thin wire of length L and uniform linear density rho is bent into a circular loop with center at O as shown. The moment of inertia of the loop over axis xx prime is. 4 options are given. You can pause the video and attempt the question. This is actually a simple and a trivial question. We have to find moment of inertia about this axis. The moment of inertia about the point O perpendicular to this ring is mr square, because all the points, all the elements of the ring are at the same distance r. So the moment of inertia of all the elements will add to give mr square. The moment of inertia about a diameter in the plane of the ring is half mr square. This is by perpendicular axis theorem. We can take two diameters, one like this and one like this perpendicular, and both the two diameters are same. So 2 times I dia will be equal to mr square. So from this we get moment of inertia about the diameter in the plane of the ring is half mr square. And moment of inertia about x experiment can be found by using parallel axis theorem. I about tangential, which is x prime, is moment of inertia about center of mass, that is mr square plus m into the distance between the two axes, that is this distance, which is r mr square. So it is 3 by 2 mr square, and m is related to the linear density as rho into L. Rho is the linear density and L is the length of the wire, and radius is related to the length of the wire as L by 2 pi. So simplifying we get this expression. So the correct option is option D.